We grew up on mixtapes and neon lights.
Hey there, everybody. It is the GlobeTrotting Trio. I am Amy.
I'm Shelley.
Hello, I am Tammy.
It is so good to talk to you guys today. Let's talk to you about some more of that freedom. So, last week we talked about financial freedom, but we have two more freedoms that we love to talk about, and that's personal and time freedom. So, of course, personal freedom, that's just us, in my opinion. That is us being able to do what we want, when we want, and how we want it, right? And then time freedom, I don't want to have to worry about that clock. We have a finite number of years that we have to ourselves to be able to do what we want when we want. So the ability to combine those two things together, have the freedom to do what we want, when we want, how we want,
Ah,
at any time, that is
Mhm.
huge, right? So tell me, if you were to define time freedom, Shelley, what would that look like? Or
I get
personal?
to,
How about personal and
okay.
time freedom?
Ooh, personal and time freedom. Okay. So personal, I can sit and read a book.
Oh yeah.
If I have achieved what I know I need to achieve that day, and I want to go sit on my couch in the middle of the afternoon because I've gotten all of
yeah.
my work done and read a book, I can go read a book.
I like it.
I can go climb in the pool with some of my best friends at lunchtime and float for 2 hours because I decided to start work at 5 a.m. that day.
Mhm.
Like I get to decide.
I love it.
Me, nobody
Yeah.
else.
Nobody else.
But I also get to continue to coach. I don't have to ask for time off. I don't have to feel guilty about where my time is being used or how I'm spending it. Like I get to put my time into the things that are nearest to my heart, and that's kids. My kids, grandkids, other people's kids. We are really about the kids here, and I get to choose to spend that time with them. I don't have to say no.
I love it. What about you, Tammy? Tell us about your personal time freedom.
Oh man. I mean, I said this last week about the financial part of it. I was not a good employee because I wanted more time off. So time freedom is huge for me because I the story and that's just why I left corporate America was I was in 2008 I was going through infertility treatments and I was still at my corporate America job because they had wonderful insurance and they were paying for everything except for the actual transfer itself. But um, I had to report to this evil woman, and she had no children, and she was just a little, just extreme about people coming into work and all this. And every when I had to go to the doctor, you had to go in every other day for like 10 days. And she's like, I don't understand why you have to do that. Well, you don't have to understand this. It is up to me, you know?
Mhm.
And it wasn't like I was not showing up to work. I was only 15, 20 minutes late, on those days because it was the way that it worked.
Right.
And she actually called me into her office and said, that basically I can't do it anymore. And I said, well, basically, you don't have a choice. I will get on FMLA if I have to. But guess what? I don't have to have that stress anymore.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And that is a huge reason why I quit corporate America because I do not ever want to go back to having my time mean my own time told me how I could use my own time. That's ridiculous. So that's huge for me. The time freedom has always been huge for me. And the personal freedom is, that I could go and, at one point MJ and I did a donut mommy and I called mommy and Maddie Joe donut adventure that we took off in the middle of the week, whatever day it was that week, and we did every week we did something else, a donut, we went to a different donut shop. How fun is that? So that's personal freedom to me, and that's time freedom for me too. It's all wrapped
Yeah,
up in amazing freedoms. What
I
about you,
agree.
Amy?
So I will tell you, and I just told this story to somebody recently. I was sitting here trying to think of who it was. Whenever I was pregnant with my youngest, my biological, so I have two kids that are my biological children. So my youngest, when I was pregnant with her, I worked at a corporate insurance company, and it was before I went into education. And I actually had to go to my doctor and ask my doctor, would you please write me a note so that I can give it to my boss and tell her that I will need to get up to go to the bathroom periodically throughout the day, and that it could be very frequently. And I was like 7 or 8 months pregnant whenever that happened, 6, 7, or something like that. I can't
Okay,
remember.
that would be common sense for that lady
Right.
to know that,
But
or that
my
person.
How demeaning.
my
Yeah,
boss's boss would watch me because I would take a phone call. I'd put myself on, after I get done with the call, I'd put myself on busy. I'd run to the bathroom, run right back, and run to the bathroom, run right back. Every, hour or so.
sure.
Maybe it was, yeah, playing with bladder bongos. And I just had to go to the bathroom quite frequently. It's just the way it was. And, that was kind of the start of whenever I started venturing out, realizing I want to be by myself. Now, it was much more, many, many more years after that before I actually found this business. But there were a lot of ventures in between there where I realized that just wasn't the right one. It wasn't the right fit. I had my own brick and mortar business and then found this. This is 100 times better than anything else. I did have a brick and mortar business too, but it was tied to a brick and mortar building, meaning I had to show up there.
Yeah.
I had to do the work. I had to do the
Yeah.
accounting. I had to worry about this or worry about that. Here's this supply and that supply, and we got to get
Yeah.
this and got to get that. Those are the things that I don't have to worry about so much.
Mhm.
I get up,
Mhm.
I yawn, stretch, and walk myself right into my office
Right.
and sit down in front of my computer and I work.
And I really don't care if there's only one roll of toilet paper in the house. We'll get some eventually.
I
You
know.
know,
Yeah.
it's not like having to buy supplies at a business.
Uh-huh. No, it isn't, is it? It's nothing like that.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yes. So
Although I
time
will
freedom,
say,
time freedom,
credit to
and
my husband, we are never short on toilet paper.
Oh,
He
there you
has an
go.
obsession
Yeah.
good
of not
deal.
running out of toilet paper. So I just had to throw that out there because he'll listen to this and say, one roll? No, we get one package. I'm buying more.
Never will he be without. Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. So.
Nope,
All
not at
right,
all.
so we've kind of talked a little bit about those real life examples of choosing family over one of the other big things, and I think we talked a little bit about it last week. I love the fact that I can choose my grandbabies, so I will actually be going to pick them up tomorrow and spending a few days with them because that's what I get to do. I get to make that choice. We talked about some of the heavier
Yeah.
reasons why it was more important to have this business than others, with our parents. And me, myself, my own mother passed away in 2023, and having that time to be able to just
Yeah.
do what I needed to devote to my family so that I didn't have to worry about, oh my gosh, I got to go clock in. I got to go get my job done.
Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
my job within my time that I had. I had my business and I did it when I could. So, do you guys have any other examples that you would like to share? Just maybe more like donuts. You got to have donuts.
Donuts. I can have donuts anytime I want.
Yeah.
I get to answer that video call from the grandbabies anytime I want.
Oh,
I
yes.
love it. I love
Yes,
it.
absolutely. And I mean, and if we want to talk about our pets, and I know
Right?
Shelley is too big about the pets, but I can walk my dog anytime
Right
I
here.
want. I can let him out. I mean, my dog is spoiled. He's standard poodle. Shelley has standard poodles too. They want us home all the time
Uh-huh.
now. And, because they can go outside anytime they
Right.
want, and
Yeah, I ran to the grocery store yesterday. Like literally ran to the grocery store. There's nobody in the house. I was gone for not even 30 minutes from beginning to end. It's probably like 20 minutes. And they were
uh-huh.
both sitting at the door staring at me like, how you left me
Where'd you
alone.
go?
Why am I by myself? Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
they
Yeah.
do. And so and I think that enhances our life too, because pets enhance our life
Mhm.
for sure. So
Absolutely.
it
So
is.
it's a blessing and a curse that we get to be here with our pets for sure.
Yes, it is. It
Because
is.
there are
But
times whenever you're sitting here and you're working and you're in the middle of a
yeah,
meeting or whatever, and they just
yeah,
decide that they need to go outside.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
Or and the other thing too is our friends. If a friend
yes.
called us up and said, "Hey, you want to go get coffee, or you want to go get a glass of wine, or whatever the case may be, guess what? We can.
Yes.
We can do that. So I love the fact that I can go in the middle of the day, and even going to the middle of the day to the grocery store, even though I don't do that very often, but it's way different
Yeah.
than going to the grocery store after everybody gets off work. So
Right.
yeah.
Right. Or think about
Yep.
recently, Tammy, you came to Oklahoma to hang out with some friends here,
Yep.
and you just got to do that whenever you wanted to, and I got to
Whenever. And
weasel
you
my
got to
way in,
come.
come over and hang
Yeah.
out with you guys.
Come out and hang
Yeah.
out. Right.
What were you gonna say,
Exactly.
Shelley? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I think you had like one of our things today, right, was to talk about how we design our days around what matters most. And I think about the time that as business owners we spend on self-development now.
Mm,
And it's self-development because we choose to
yeah.
want to be better. We
Right.
choose to want to do better, right? To succeed, to go
Mhm.
that extra step for our individual businesses. That is so much different than being told you have to take this education class, you have to do this, you have to do that.
Yeah.
You're not doing enough of this.
Right.
Like I always hated review time. And not that I got a bad review, but it's sitting there, someone critiquing me, telling me I didn't do enough. I'm
Right.
a good employee, but I didn't do enough. I get to choose what that development looks like now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so much more rewarding.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. And and that's very true. I never got a bad performance review
Yeah.
ever. And it was always, Tammy, you just want too much time off. And I'm like, yeah, hello.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
so I agree 100%. I love the fact that we can design our time can look the way we want it to look. So
Yes.
I will say a lot of time this summer has been me in my pool.
Yes.
So I love the fact that if I wanted to, I just was able to just stop and go.
Right.
Just being able to grab the grandbabies and take them out there. Unfortunately, they won't
Yeah.
be doing it this time that they're with us because it's in the 70s for some stupid reason, but Mother Nature
She,
is weird.
she needs to like move to the Bahamas or something. You really
I,
do.
Get a
I
heated
do.
pool. Don't you have a heater?
Uh,
Not on my pool.
Oh.
It's above
Well, we were
ground.
in the
It's not
pool
below
last
ground.
weekend and it was 73 here, but the water was like 90 degrees. It was beautiful.
she has the
Yeah,
heater.
yeah. That's not the way it works in Oklahoma.
They
We
don't
have
do
an
the
above ground pool.
yeah.
Anyway, so let's talk about those ripple effects.
Mm,
Mm.
What these freedoms, because we talked about financial freedom before.
yes.
We then are now talking about personal and time freedom. What's that ripple effect look like for our loved ones?
Mm.
So, Tammy, what does that look like for you?
Well, first of all, the one that I always think about first is my son.
Mhm.
It's like that ripple effect is that he is now thinking entrepreneurship. That's what
Right.
he's thinking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get a corporate job. He's thinking, okay, so how can I make my money without going to a corporate job? Because, his dad and I both are, non-traditional, obviously. We both, do businesses. So, husband does get our insurance, but that's a big ripple effect for that, for sure. And for my mom is that I'm able to be there when she needs it. All she would have to do is say, she would call and say, hey, I need you right now. I'm like, okay, I'll be there in 15 minutes, whatever. Well, that's within reason, because she would call me every day and say, I need you now. That's what moms do, right? That's what we all do. But yeah, that's really it's an amazing ripple effect that my child knows that entrepreneurship is the way to go in
I
life.
do love that. How
Mhm.
about you, Shelley? Do you see anything, what those ripples are for your family?
I'm more plugged in. I mean, I was pretty intentional before about my time with my family, needed to be my time, but when you work as a district sales manager, you are on call from the time that, that business opens until the last one closes.
Mhm.
And that's just how it is. And for me, that was like 13 hours a day. And that's a lot. And for my kids to always know, hey, if the phone rings during dinner, I potentially have to get up and answer this, even though I tell you there's no electronics at the table.
Yeah.
You know, that's a hard one. And as they got older, it was easier for me to be able to say, nope, this is our 45 minutes. I'm not answering it. I'll address it later. But I still had to address it, you know? So I felt like there was always times where I was just so torn of obligation versus like the heart's desire, right?
Right.
I am so plugged in now. You know, a week ago Sunday, we had 3 of our kids here. My mom was here. I made a huge dinner. I could put my phone down for 3.5 hours and not touch it. You know, I could walk away and I could say nothing else is important at this moment. And you know, that builds our relationships. It builds the confidence of your loved ones. You know, it's amazing what happens when you're truly focused on someone and how that affects their own their love for themselves, their own, you know, their own self-respect, their own confidence. Like it really, it's a game changer when you can actually plug in and somebody knows you're there for them. And I would say getting my family to think outside the box, just like MJ, you know, wanting to be an entrepreneur. I mean, I'm showing Thea and Grayson, you might be little, but there's things that you can do to start making money now. Like think about, you know, what you want to do. And Grayson loves getting on meetings with me. Like when I'm at their house and I'll be on a meeting, he's like, oh, can I sit with you? Like, because it's something new and it's interesting to him. And I want to help them think outside that box. So
I love
Same.
it.
Same.
Same. Listen, Amy, same.
I don't know. I mean, we're very like-minded in those respects, but both of those are exactly them. Like just the fact that we can do what we want when we want, how we want it. I don't know how many times I have said that, but that is the true joy of this business is that we can stop and go do what we need to do or want to do without having to feel guilty about having to do it.
Yeah. Right.
And
you know, and we've all sacrificed. We've all had times where we've had to tell our family, hey, I have to step away. I have to be gone for 3 days. I have to, you know, you know, every night this week, we have something special happening. And every 1 hour, every night this week, I have to not be bothered. Like we still do those things, right? Because if you don't show up for your business, you don't have a business.
Right.
You know, so we do still plug in, but all 3 of us, we get to say what that looks like. We have that power.
Absolutely. The biggest thing is that, you know, your time is really your life. So asking our audience, if you could just tell us about it, give something in the comments, what would you do if you could reclaim more of your time and your own personal freedom? What would you do? What are those things that you would claim that you would say, oh, if only I had more time, I would. If only I had more freedom to do, I would. We'd love to hear them because you know what? A lot of ours are very in sync with each other because we are the GlobeTrotting Trio. We love working together. But you know what? We'd like to hear what you guys have to say. And if you enjoyed what you heard today in today's episode, you want to learn some more, you should be back here Thursday morning at 7 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Eastern, and be sure to hit the follow button because if you do, you'll see us. All right. And as always, thank you for joining us on this wild and beautiful journey. Until next time, keep exploring.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.